Hi, I'm RT.
And I'm Tyler.
And this is Custer Wolfe Building a Watch Company.
Today we're going to talk about the new machine room, which we're sitting in right now, and what we're doing to make our clean room better.
All right, so we got to talk about the shop, aka the machine room. We got to talk about the clean room. But first, I think we should talk about the fact that we're hiring watchmakers. We're getting a lot of questions about what is a watchmaker? Why do you need so many? What is a certified watchmaker? And what exactly is that job description, etc.?
Yeah, because we've gotten a lot of applications from people that seem really well suited for an assembly job. And we might have assembly jobs for some of our new products that are less complicated than our pocket watch conversions.
Yeah.
But do you want to start by just explaining to everybody what a certified watchmaker is?
Yeah, I can try. So I think my definition is that there are only a few schools for watchmakers in the world, a very small amount in the US. And the certified part of a certified watchmaker is that you went to some sort of school or certification program, and you have that certification that says you are a watchmaker. When we say watchmaker, we're not just taking all the components that we make plus the antique movement and assembling it. That's what Tyler's saying by assembler. That's what we typically call the people building the watches. We're talking the antique pocket watch mechanism that we use, 100 plus components in there that has to be completely disassembled, restored, polished, cleaned, adjusted, and rebuilt. And you need a lot of experience and or a certification to be a true watchmaker.
Yeah, and this year we've kind of had a shift in just the way that we look at who builds the watches and how we restore the watches, just the whole process in general. Before we had watchmakers restoring the movements and getting them back into as close to original condition as possible.
Yep.
And then we would have other people that weren't certified in watchmaking actually building the watches.
Yep.
And nothing against them, that they've done a great job. And Derek, I think in his time here, he's actually closer to a watchmaker than he is an assembler at this point. He can service a movement himself. But even if you're starting with a serviced pocket watch movement, there's just a million different things that can go wrong. It was just this week, I've been building some of our V3 prototypes. So I've been working with movements again for the first time in a while. And it just kind of opened my eyes to just how difficult it is working with these old pocket watches.
Yeah.
There's some screws can be stripped.
They can be shit too.
Yeah. And if we're working with Grandpa's watch, if we're doing an heirloom conversion, we need to make that watch work.
Yep.
So there's so many. I made so many little adjustments. I was placing hands. I was tightening dial screw feet. I'm messing with the case screws. You really have to know what you're doing. So moving forward, what we think is going to be best for the brand and get us the best quality and make everybody happier is only having certified watchmakers both restore and build our watches, assemble the watches.
Yep. And the dream is for the Vortic brand as it stands now in the pocket watch conversion product, or what we call the American Artisan series, it's can we have one human take the antique pocket watch from unrestored status, just like we found it in the pawn shop or at the estate sale, and restore that pocket watch movement, dial, hands, get it all ready, and that same human takes it all the way to full assembly and builds the case around it, puts the crown on, attaches the strap, does the final Q&A, and puts it on the testing machines for final inspection by another human. That artisanship and it's almost like the journeyman kind of thing that we've talked about before. It's it would be awesome to have people with that depth of knowledge to be able to build something from start to finish. Not to mention, we could include a little card with each watch to say this particular human waving at you built your watch from start to finish. That's really cool. That's the dream, but we need certified watchmakers to get there.
Yeah, and from a functional standpoint, a lot of times we get a watch that was restored by a separate watchmaker, and somebody starts building it and sees a problem. And then it has to go back to that person, and there's this feedback loop that really stinks.
Yep.
So if one person takes it all the way through, we should get better results kind of everywhere.
So bottom line, we're hiring watchmakers, certified watchmakers. If you went to school to be a watchmaker, in whatever school means for you, if you went to school to be a watchmaker and you have a certification, please check out our website, the careers page, check out that job description, and let us know what questions you have. You would move here to Fort Collins, Colorado, work in this new clean room that we're going to show you the makings of, and we need more than one. I mean, we're trying to hire one ASAP, probably another one by the end of the year, but I bet we'll end up hiring at least one watchmaker a year for the foreseeable future. So we need a lot of help in that area. So if you have that skill, let us know. If you know someone that might be looking for a change and they're a watchmaker, definitely send a link to our careers page if you can. That'd be super, super helpful. And for those of you that applied that don't have a certification, that's okay. We'll take those applications and we'll save them, because we are going to need other help in the shop. You know, Tyler's going to need help in the machine room. We're going to need a lot of other assembly type roles as we build all the new stuff that we're building. But primary need right now is those certified watchmakers.
So yeah, I guess we can move on to the next topic of the shop. We're actually building stuff.
Yeah, so once we have watchmakers, and we have a couple now, thank God, we need to build all the other parts. So what's your vision for this room? Like what's happening right now and what's next?
Yeah, so we're sitting right in the center of the new machine room at our new building in downtown Fort Collins. It is an active construction zone. You can see we have a Skyjack behind us.
This episode is sponsored by Skyjack.
Yeah, but we're focusing on the machine room first, because we want to move a couple pieces of machinery in here that we've already purchased that are in storage that we want to get set up and running. So that's why we're focused on getting this machine room up and functional first. So some of the things that we're doing are we're building a compressor closet that's framed out behind us. Right. We polished all these floors a while ago. You can see all this electrical is all new stuff. We upgraded the service in this building to 1,000 amps, and we're going to need at least 600 of them just for this room to power machines and compressors. We also did a bunch of HVAC work. So we added 2 4-ton condensers just for this room, for the air conditioning, to keep this room temperature controlled. The goal being to match the assembly room, have the temperature the same in both. We have a condenser for the cooling in the new clean room, the assembly room. We have a separate HVAC condenser for the new studio, because we need to be able to turn that off for sound. We're adding a sink and some plumbing so we can more easily fill coolant in the machines. Bunch of really cool upgrades to make life easier and more efficient.
My friend Eddie at Great Republic found us a massive antique American flag that's going to go on that wall right behind the camera. So stoked about that. I sent Tyler a really awful drawing trying to say like, okay, this is the biggest flag in the history of flags, so I'm not sure if it's going to fit. And I tried to draw it on my phone,
and I didn't respond because I just assumed that it was good.
You assumed I already bought it, which I haven't yet, actually, but I should, and I think it'll look awesome on that wall, actually. So yeah, I think this room's coming together.
But yeah, next step is we've mentioned it in earlier episodes, but we've purchased 2 used machines that we can't fit in our current shop since we've started this renovation process. We bought a DMG Mori 5-axis, a DMU 50, and then we bought a DMG Gildemeister Swiss lathe. And we have both of those machines in storage in the local area. And we want to get those dropped off. There's a ton of things we have to do with those machines before we get them running. We could need custom post processors. We need to get a 3D model of the 5-axis for simulation purposes. There's just the list is kind of endless of stuff that we need to do to get those ready. So the goal is to spend a month or two with those machines on this floor, getting them ready to go, so they're ready to cut chips and make prototypes when we move the rest of the machines over here. Yep. So everything's kind of ready to go at the same time. And just part of the move and part of delays and part of everything is, we've been pushing to get those machines in here as soon as possible, and we had a scheduled date of 2 weeks from now to deliver those machines, but as the Swiss was being powered up, one of the axis motors turned it out to be bad. So now we're another 2 weeks behind getting those machines delivered because the current owner of that machine has to replace that motor.
Yep. But once that gets done, then we'll be on the way to having our machine shop set up here. And what do you think? You want to maybe go show everyone at least the outline or the skeleton, of the clean room?
Yeah, they've got a lot of it framed out, so let's take a look. So we're standing here in our new clean room. Mm-hmm. None of this was here before. Each of these sectioned off parts of the wall, the previous tenant in this building was a co-working space, so they had every single little office sectioned off to, be able to accommodate as many different businesses as possible. So the first thing we did was knock out all of those walls. Mm-hmm. And kind of the big progress that we can see here today is the framing of the new walls that are going in.
Yep, and we put windows all throughout that wall, so when we're giving a customer a tour, we can not come into this room with the customer, because this room will be pressurized and dust-proof and a whole separate HVAC system that's like right above my head soon, right? So those windows will be nice so that we can show people what's happening in this room without entering this room. And for that reason, this little kind of area right here, that little room where Tyler's in, is going to be the, what would you call it, the airlock? Yeah, so this will be the airlock. We'll walk into this room. There'll be another door here. And so you'll close that door before you enter this room.
So the final configuration, we've changed it a few times. You'll enter, so now I'm outside the clean room. Now I'm inside the airlock, and the airlock is here.
Yep.
We needed to build a separate closet for our air scrubbing unit, the thing that's actually keeping the air clean in the clean room. So this is a Lieberty unit that we're getting specifically, that we kind of had custom ordered. We had to cut the beams in the ceiling to fit this unit because we were picky and we wanted to use that unit even though this room was too short.
Yep.
So we actually had to cut the beams out of the ceiling to fit the unit and build this closet here. So from this airlock, you'll have two options: either go into the HVAC closet or come into the clean room.
Oh, I see. So this whole thing where I'm standing is going to be like the HVAC room.
Yep.
So there won't be any humans in here. It'll just be like equipment and stuff.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and we, one of the things that we love about this room as the clean room is the natural light that it gets.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of windows to the exterior, but we have these cool skylights all the way through the room, and we have some exterior windows, and these windows are actually really nice because we have natural light coming from other parts of the building, and these will allow that to come in here as well.
Yeah.
But one thing that we just had to change recently is you can see these red outlines here. This is where the ducting for the air scrubbing unit was going to go. It was just going to run straight down the center of the room. It's not exactly what we had in the scope of work, written scope of work that we gave to the general contractors, and this was going to take out these skylights and a bunch of the lights. So in order to avoid that, what we're doing now is the ducting is going to run along the edge of the room and snake around the back where the majority of the workspaces are, where they're actually building and restoring watches.
Cool.
And on the bottom of that ducting, they're going to have diffusers or registers, and these are going to gently push the clean, temperature, humidity controlled air slowly, gently over the workspaces to kind of get the dust off as they're working.
Yeah, because we've learned like when what actually creates dust, or the problem from dust, is when the air is not moving. When the air is stagnant, then the dust settles on the desks and the watches and the workspaces and all that stuff. If those vents are kind of just pushing air very slowly across the workspace, then the dust shouldn't, if there is any dust in there, it shouldn't settle on the workspace.
Yeah. Next steps for this room are, obviously finishing the walls, adding windows. We got a big double door going in down there. We're going to get this ducting in, the tin, as they call it.
Yep.
And then one of the longest lead time things is just going to be this Lieberty unit. We're hoping to have just about everything ready for when that unit arrives, which I believe was delayed by the overall delays of the world right now.
Yep.
And we should hopefully be able to just plug that in and have everything else ready when that gets here.
Aluminum can shortages and Lieberty system shortages, whatever that means. Do you want to walk that way and show them the rest of the room?
Sure.
So this is the rest of the room. This will be the biggest open space, because the rest of it is just kind of this big thin space. And then this door we built as a double door, so that we won't really use this door much, because obviously it'll let all the nice air out and dust, but to get all of our machine, or all the furniture and all that stuff in here.
It's like a moving door / fire door.
Fire exit too, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this back space is where most of the watch restoration and assembly is going to be. We'll have watchmaking benches kind of dotting this wall around here, and the HVAC with those registers pointing down, like I said, will sneak all the way around the back of this room back here. So all these desks will have that gentle airflow.
And it's going to be so bright right here because of that window, and then you got 1-2 skylights right here.
Yeah, and we're going to have windows in these double doors, so
and that
they'll be able to get
room's
some of the
fairly bright,
natural light from that room out there too.
especially in the afternoon. Yeah. Is this a skylight too?
Yep.
Dang, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Cool. So that's the clean room.
That's it for this episode of Custer and Wolfe Building Watch Company. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram so you can watch what we're up to.
And if you want weekly updates on all the awesome stuff we're doing, head to vorticwatches.com and get yourself on our email newsletter to learn more. See you next time.